I feel like is this episode 1?
This is episode 1.
Yeah,
It's a pilot episode, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Because it's got a name and stuff. Do you want to announce what the name is?
Yeah, there's definitely not enough planning into the introduction of the podcast.
No.
I just like we've got content, but how do we start? I mean, the clap, obviously.
All right.
We're gonna do that?
Yep.
That was actually
That
right.
was excellent.
That was good.
Yeah, actually, and a lot of people actually ask me why we clap. From the previous one, and it's so we can sync the sound and the video, just in case.
Which we should be doing before we really start talking about
No,
it.
but like you sync it on the clap and it back syncs. It doesn't just sync forward.
No, but you mean to sync it and then cut that footage off.
And then you start talking, right?
So no one. That's why you
It's
don't
like
see the clappers in movies.
Yeah.
That would be good though, eh?
Every
You
scene.
know, like,
Every
yeah.
scene.
What scene are we in? So you know the take as well? Take number 14.
Oh, that's
this
the
is
one
gonna
they
be a
went with.
hard
Yeah,
one.
this is good.
Oh, this is good.
So, welcome to the podcast.
Are you doing the introduction?
No, I was just kind of stopping out rambling.
Oh, so
I should take turns doing introductions.
Yeah.
So it's
Cool
your
name.
turn to introduce.
Okay,
Cool names.
right. Okay, well, welcome to Hot Chips Podcast, your Kiwi podcast about gaming stuff. That's pretty much the best. I'm Amy Potter.
She games harder than you.
Oh no, can we not? Let's not go there. We've introduced ourselves last time, so we can actually link last time's video somewhere here on the screen, so that if you didn't see our
Or
introduction,
below.
yeah.
you can go see that. But yeah.
Yep. Cool. So what do we do on the podcast?
What do we do on the podcast? We talk about all things gaming with a bit of a Kiwi flair. So, we talk funny.
Yeah.
And
It's
our,
mainly the
our
accent.
opinions are whack, generally.
Whack.
Just
Yeah.
whack.
It's also the 90s.
I constantly live in the 90s, which is kind of funny when you hear about what I might talk about next.
Yeah.
Right.
Next.
Yeah.
Like right next.
My next
Wow.
thing that I might talk about.
Well,
Yeah.
before we talk about that, let's catch up.
It's
Oh,
ketchup.
Let's
Ah.
catch up.
You see what I did there?
Everyone's looking at me. They know I am the only
Well,
ketchup.
I thought there was going to be chips, to be
Oh, I
honest.
know. I
I'm
actually
filled
think
with
we
the
should have got
condiments.
chips.
We should
were
have.
a bit-
Little
we
basket.
should have-
I thought there'd be a little basket of
Yeah,
chips.
we actually thought about spreading them around in a circle around the microphone, and you just pick them up as
The
you go.
table's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
greasy.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
there, it's
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
All right,
Next time we'll
Theo,
have chips.
tell us what's going on.
Two catch-up things that I've got to share with everyone on the podcast today, with all you beautiful viewers out there. The first thing is where the streamers of New Zealand are starting to work very hard to network with each other, which I think is really, really cool. I've started... I caught up with 2AM Gaming recently. You have that on the screen.
Yay.
And...
2am.
They've been spending a lot of time doing the same thing that I've been doing in the gaming industry, in like the gaming community industry, which is just networking and finding everyone else that does these things, that does streaming in New Zealand. So she, Lindsay in particular, went out with Frenchie and found all of the streamers in New Zealand and started talking to them about doing a meetup. And now there are a few ideas floating around. Like I put up a page on the Aspect of Gaming website which lists all the streamers that are popular or active in New Zealand. And they're talking about just getting everyone together and meeting and discussing ideas and teaching them how they've improved their streams, because the 2AM stream looks fantastic.
It does.
And like when
It's
you
beautiful.
when you spend time on it, you get gold and you
Yeah.
can song request and it's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. I
It is
love
great.
it.
Yeah.
And I've got some interesting news that I probably can't share right now, but I'm totally going
Next
to.
time.
Next time on Dragon
I
Ball
think I know
podcast.
what the news might be.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. But there might be something fun. There will be something fun coming up for streamers at Armageddon in Auckland. And I'm not going to say anything because I'm going to leave you hanging and sort of just
When is Armageddon?
push it out. It's October.
October.
26th,
Right.
27th, 28th.
Okay.
I think
It's
it's
4 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
doing
was
this
last
last
year as
Saturday,
well.
Sunday, Monday. And yeah, there's going to be a few interesting gaming things at Armageddon 2015 in Auckland. It's going to be very exciting. But we'll share that next podcast because we'll definitely have announcements and graphics and things for that then. But the other thing I wanted to discuss or talk about, announce, was that there's two. We're going to have to restart.
Difficulties. We're back.
We're back. Hey, carrying on from technical difficulties. We're doing the catch-up session, and I'm talking about lands. So we've got two awesome lands coming up, awesome New Zealand-based lands coming up. The two, arguably the two biggest lands or the most active lands in New Zealand, Ping Zero and Echo Land, are coming up in the next couple of months, and they've got announcements coming out. And they found venues and they're talking to people, and it's really, really cool. The first one coming up is Ping Zero, which is it's undoubtedly the biggest LAN currently happening in New Zealand, and it's got a really good figurehead, Conrad, leading it, Major Havoc, leading it to become bigger and better every single time, and he's working with a lot of sponsors to make great things happen. So definitely check that out if you're in Auckland. Both of these are Auckland based, by the way, because everywhere else in New Zealand is just friggin' they're lazy. Terrible.
Just kidding, we love you, Auckland.
We're going to do a Wellington LAN. Yes, announcement here. No. And Echo LAN, relatively small but still building up, and a Wicked LAN coming up on October 16th. So
Cool.
that's my catch-up for this fortnight.
Cool.
Nice.
Other big news this week was Gamescom. That was,
Yes.
Gamescom,
Yeah.
yes, well, over
Did
the last 2 weeks,
anyone watch that?
No.
For the first time, I didn't watch like anything.
Oh, really? I watched
This is
a few
the first time.
trailers, but I didn't actually actively watch any live content this time, no.
Right.
No, I think that's the thing. There was a lot of trailers that came out. There was no big announcement news. Oh, there was obviously the new World of Warcraft expansion.
Legion.
Right.
Yeah. Do you know much about that?
Yeah, I know quite a bit about that.
So is old Demon Hunter dude? Is he back?
He's
I thought
back.
He died.
He's back, and you can beat him. It's
What?
weird. Yeah. So Illidan's back. All the trailers, everything showed it. Gul'dan's like touching him in weird ways, making him glow green. You need to see the trailer to believe
Breaking
it.
into a new market.
And you can become a demon hunter now, which is really cool. I love that idea. I've
Yeah.
been a big fan of demon hunters for a while. Yeah.
Cool.
Double sides.
I watched the new Star Wars trailer,
Oh,
Battlefront trailer
yes,
with
yeah,
the
yeah.
dog
Was
fighting.
highlight.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like
The X-Wings.
it's just team on team dog fights with AI
Nice.
TIE fighters and stuff in there as well. So it's just this big like mess of
Yeah.
like they haven't gone in space, so you're in like the stratosphere. So there's always like an orientation
right.
towards the ground. I guess they've done that because
Yeah,
that could be
yeah.
quite confusing
That
in
would
the old
be very
Battlefronts.
confusing, yeah.
But it looks amazing, and that was actually my favourite part of all the Battlefield games previously. Is just getting in those jets and doing the dog fighting. So
Yeah.
to have that as an actual mode in the game, I love that game.
Yeah,
I'm
it was
already
like
sold on
20.
that
It
game.
was like 10 on 10 or something, right?
Yeah,
Was
plus
it?
AI, I
Yeah.
think.
You've done a complete 360.
I know.
180.
I know.
You've done a complete 180.
Earlier in the year, Jordan was convinced they were going to just make a dog's breakfast of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
I thought it
I'm
was
on
gonna be the
board. That
worst.
game is
It's-
going to be
it's
the
cool.
best.
This is going to be my first Battlefront, so I'm pretty excited about
Yeah,
it.
same actually.
Yeah.
I've played all of them.
I'm
I love
excited
it.
also, yeah. Should be good.
Mm.
Cool.
With any other news? There was also a Dark Souls 3 trailer. Did you watch
I
that?
don't
This
care.
gameplay one?
I
That's it. You're just like doesn't matter.
No.
Next,
Right.
next.
Right, next. Well, Amy's
Um,
doing our next section. Oh.
There's a Resident Evil 2 remake officially announced, which I am
Oh, that's
so
exciting.
excited.
Yeah,
You guys are
I
just like,
completely-
what?
I completely skipped that, yeah.
Yeah. So have you guys played the original Resident Evil 2 at all?
Nah,
I have
not comprehensively.
You guys don't.
no.
None of
I
you
know
all
it's
going.
revolutionary, and it did really, really well back in its day.
Yeah. So that's getting the well, no one knows exactly which treatment it's going to get. Is it going to go for the remake treatment that 0 and 1 have had recently for PC and PS4, and I don't know if it's on Xbox One. I think it might be as well. But so it's going to either go that way, or possibly this is just my speculation. It could go the way where they make it fully like Resident Evil 6 camera
Ooh.
behind,
Yeah.
going through those environments, like the fan.
That could be cool.
There's a fan project which kind of does that, makes it look kind of like the Resident Evil 4.
Hey.
Is there a release date at all?
No, it had the most softest official launch
Yeah.
ever, which was basically one of the creators in front of a
We
TV with the logo going, "Yeah, it's happening." Yeah,
But,
yeah, it's
so
gonna-
that
it's
doesn't
gonna-
really.
but in Japanese.
doesn't really make it happening, I guess.
No, it's official. It is officially.
There's a
happening.
lot of games that have been officially announced that they've just kind of given up
Like
on.
what?
after a
I'd be.
couple of months.
I don't know. Like
Be
this
quiet
is,
about
I'm
it.
pretty certain this one's going to go
What's
through.
officially announced and then...
Lots of games come and then they disappear off the face of the
Yeah,
earth.
but
Like
they
games that are
come
really far.
eventually.
No, a lot of them
I
don't.
can't think of anything.
Like they had a full build for back to Battlefront 3. Star Wars Battlefront 3, they fully built that on like the PS2. Like,
There's plenty of
Oh,
games,
really?
like Prey 2 as
Yeah.
well. Like Prey
Yes.
2 got like
Oh.
a massive, awesome trailer and was officially announced.
All the
and
games
it
that
was
I
good.
like must be good
amazing.
enough that they always make it through.
But Resident Evil 2's happening.
Mm.
It's happening.
Alright, it's
Okay,
happening.
it's happening,
It has
it's
to
happening.
happen.
You heard it here, second, it's happening.
Yeah, that's amazing. This was a game like I think I didn't own a play. I think last time we talked, I didn't own a PlayStation or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was a game that I went down to the video store and I'd hire out a PlayStation, and I didn't know you needed a memory card, so I just hired the PlayStation and the game, and it's like
Risky.
save. What?
No saves for you.
No saves for
Can't
me.
do this.
And so like
Carry
having
on.
to just like pause it when parents wanted the TV and stuff like that, and
Yeah, it
hire
was
it
so
out multiple
stressful.
times just so I loved it. That game was amazing. So I know that's going to have like awesome graphics,
Yeah.
and the lickers and all that stuff. Oh, it's going to be great.
Yeah, because they go full out and they fully
Yeah.
redo them, which is obviously a lot of time and a lot of cost.
Yeah.
Or they just bring them to the platform, which is kind of like they do with Shadow of the Colossus
Yeah,
and stuff,
yeah.
where they did like a graphics overhaul, but it's the same gameplay, same controls.
And so I think that's the way they're going to go. They'll do
Yeah.
what they did with Resident Evil 1 and 0, which is basically just give them nice pre-rendered animated backgrounds, because I think the original ones just had still images for the background. So
Yeah.
nice rendered, high def, hopefully 1080p backgrounds, up-res the character models and textures, and just leave it. And I think with Resident Evil 1, I don't know what they're doing with 0, but with 1 they added a few extra little bits and pieces, like if you just left a zombie dead on the ground, if you came back into the environment later on, they turned into crimson heads. So they just sort of like pop up and they'd be bright red and they just go much faster and much more violent.
Yeah.
And they also started moving around key items into different rooms, so people who had played it before still felt like it was a little bit new. So hopefully that's probably what they're going to do with this one.
Cool.
Which is going to be great.
That sounds exciting.
Yeah, very
Nice.
exciting.
All right.
All right, let's get something fresh out the fryer. Fresh out the fryer.
Yeah.
We need like a
a little animation.
like a little thing that comes and just
We'll get some made eventually.
Oh, we should get the deep fryer out and actually cook up some chips, and we use the animation.
Oh, right. Like
An
a real
overlay,
life
like a bit of
shot.
B-roll,
Yeah,
yeah.
we could
Of
do
us
that.
having fun
Yeah.
burning
Yeah, let's
stuff.
do it.
Some stuff
I'm
like
down
that.
for an excuse to get
just
a
little
deep fryer
spots of
out.
like red spots where you've
Yeah.
burnt yourself.
Yeah.
Ouch.
So fresh out the fryer is where we take something new and review it. This will be the first time I've done it. So today we'll hand it over to Amy.
Yeah, so I personally haven't had a chance to play anything new over the last 2 weeks, but what I did do is get an Apple Watch, which is really exciting. And anyone who follows me on Twitter knows I've wanted an Apple Watch for a really long time, and I finally have one as an early birthday present, and it's very, very exciting. So to put a spin on it for hot
Happy
chips.
birthday, by the way.
Thank you. It's not actually been my birthday.
It's like a
yet.
month away.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That's a
No,
month away.
It's,
Oh,
it's
okay.
a very.
So I'm going to
it's
say
a
happy
very-
birthday
birthday.
every fortnight while we do these
I'm
until
down
it
for
happens.
that. That's fine.
Hey,
You
happy
can wish me
birthday.
as many happy birthdays as you like. 'Cause I love my birthday. But there's actually a few games that have been made or apps that are companions to iOS games that have actually been moved to the Apple Watch, which I think are kind of cool and worth mentioning. So the one that I've been actually using that I really, really like is Bandai Namco's Tamagotchi Classic, which is the
Bringing back the virtual
literal
pets.
reinvention of the 90s, like little Gigapet,
Yeah.
and it is the best. And so you have to feed him and like give him treats and care for him, and he grows into.
She's ignoring it right now.
I can actually feel
What's
that
the
it's
thing? You
vibrating.
can't really ignore it.
So
it's on
actually,
your
so it's
wrist.
vibrating
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, so it vibrates when it wants my attention, and I have little Tamagotchi. Ooh, can I show you guys? Little Tamagotchi. He calls for me. He wants my attention. It's cool.
So it's like the original Tamagotchi, but more annoying.
Yeah.
So what was? Can you just read out just because they wouldn't be able to see?
so
Obviously, what was
it
one of the
says,
notifications that you got?
It says, your Tamagotchi is calling you, and then you can go and you have to care for him.
And
So
does it just use the little like thing on the back that?
that vibrates.
Vibrates it,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, and then you go and it has a companion app on the iPhone, which looks exactly like the original egg with the 3 buttons.
Oh, right,
and
yeah,
it
yeah.
moves up and down across the screen, and it's totally cute and definitely worth your $5 if you haven't.
$5
$5.
Well,
$5.
Tamagotchi, guys.
Holy hell!
Tamagotchi. I support this decision.
So no.
Tamagotchi.
So and how much is the Apple Watch? Like in general, what's
The
the?
$599 is this base sports model.
Yeah, yeah.
$599.
So it's about $604
$604
Tamagotchi.
with Tamagotchi version.
And they've made no effort to upgrade the graphics of the Tamagotchi at all. It's quite
on
literally
purpose.
Tamagotchi
On
classic.
purpose. So that's what gives it its nostalgia and its.
Now-
Yeah.
I believe there's a Tamagotchi app on the Pebble,
Is there?
completely free.
Oh no! Oh no!
Snap.
Oh no!
I believe. I know that you don't have to pay for any Pebble apps.
Right.
So, and I know that there are virtual pet Pebble apps as well.
It'll be Tamagotchi.
yeah.
Is it actually by
The
Bandai
weird
Namco?
version.
Yeah.
Well, you guys keep talking, and
Okay.
I'll continue.
Because
Anyone-
there's a couple others I'll just run through really quickly, which
Yep.
I think would be worth checking out if you do have an Apple Watch. Oh, what's that noise?
That's my phone.
Oh,
Theo!
Theo! We're going to take a quick break. We'll reset the camera. Theo will turn his phone off.
Okay.
Right, so Hatchy.
So, while we had the little break there, I found in the Pebble store completely free
So that's less than $5.
$5 less
Yeah.
than
$5 less than $5.
And I didn't have to spend $600 on a watch. This is much cheaper. What's the time? I can tell you because I don't have to flick it to get it going. Anyway.
Well, my Tamagotchi's freaking calling me.
Tamagotchi? What about Hatchie?
What about Hatchie?
Hatchie.
So what it says is Hatchie is a retro-looking pebble app, sure to get the nostalgia burning for all those who cared for the virtual pet back in the 1990s. So as it's already downloaded,
Not
it's already on there.
legitimate
good.
Tamagotchi though.
I could just need to press a button. So look, I can feed it, I can shower it, I can give it a ball, I think. There's a book. So I can press... there's no touch screen.
It's just an egg
so-
at the moment. It's
so
not
I can
very exciting.
Oh, look at this.
What's
Yeah.
This is a
hatching?
bit like
Every,
when you go-
hatching.
here we go, and Hatchie is...
And it looks just like
no,
it.
It looks
doesn't.
just like it.
It doesn't. It
And I
doesn't.
just gave it a burger and it's
I would've-
eaten away.
It's like when you
gave
go
it a
to
burger.
China and get like Louis Vuitton or something.
What's the
like,
best version of Tamagotchi there's been?
Well, I don't know. I think
Oh,
Hatchie's
the
pretty good, to be
original
honest.
Tamagotchi is the best.
Well, I'm gonna put
Personally.
forward two options. Does anyone have a Digimon?
No.
Yeah, I did actually.
Yeah.
No, I think
There was
Tamagotchi's better.
there was a Tamagotchi.
Yeah, so
version
it's a
of it?
Tamagotchi Digimon, and you could level them up and they'd evolve and stuff, and then you click them together and they battled.
Oh, that's
With
good.
like other
That
people.
was
very cool.
They're really
Yeah.
cool. And second, the latest, I don't know if the latest ones have it, but since Pokemon X and Y, you had like Pokemon Tamagotchi built into the game,
Oh, that's cool too.
and you could put your Pokemon
Not
on the
to
bottom
take
screen,
away
and you could
from
feed them muffins and
the-
stuff and play mini games.
I like how burgers
That
and
was the
muffins.
best.
We're terrible
You
parents.
guys are overshadowing my Tamagotchi
Yeah.
Apple Watch.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Hatchie a bit more.
So anyway, I've been playing that and it's been really fun. And there are a few other Apple Watch apps which they've made that I thought was interesting that they're by some big studios. There's actually one for your FIFA 15 iOS app.
Oh.
It's like a companion where you can manage players and accept bribes and like organize your top
Accept
five.
bribes.
Yeah, accept bribes and like organize your top 5 rotation. There's obviously an extension of the Zombies Run iOS app, which if anyone's played that, that's really cool. And I can't wait to use that for my Apple Watch.
That's pretty good, Zombies Run.
Yeah, it is really cool. And there's Spy Watch, which is like the best because whenever you do anything with this thing and you're talking into it, you automatically feel like you're a spy. And it's actually by Bossa Studios, the people who made Surgeon Simulator.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah,
yeah,
so
Surgeon Sim.
that looks pretty cool, and I'd like to try that out as well. And that's pretty much my roundup of cool Apple Watch games that are in the market.
Mm.
Yeah.
Cool. So next time, I have started to apply for some review copies of games, so we should have some
Yay.
games
Nice.
that we can
Excellent.
all review. We're going to do a panel review, which means we're all going to play it, and then everyone's going to get like 30 to 60 seconds to try make their case for the game.
Yeah.
And then at the end of that, we're going to give it a score.
The
Okay.
lightning round.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oof.
Yeah.
All right. I like it.
Awesome.
This is how the podcast is going to break up. We're going to have so many
Yeah,
episodes.
like hating on each other.
It's fine.
Now, every episode here on the Hot Chip podcast, we like to get salty.
You do like to get salty.
And this week we're getting salty about games that you pay for with built-in microtransactions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Particularly infuriate me.
Have you got something specific in mind?
A couple of things specific in mind. The two main ones were Evolved and War Z. Or Evolver.
Evolve.
Yeah.
Evolver?
Evolver.
Jesus!
Evolve.
Whoa.
Evolve.
So tell us what happened in Evolve.
Yikes.
So Evolve came out and you could buy it for about $60, and then
Yeah.
as soon as you got into the game, you realized that there was about I think $130 worth of content that you could buy that didn't really add anything to the game, but that was just there, and that there was all these encouragements to make you buy things.
What
and
sort
it
of
was-
stuff? What sort of stuff?
I didn't play it that much. That's a weird thing.
It was terrible,
like
right?
it was like other trappers, and I think there were skins and there were different weapons and things like that.
Right,
Which I think it's fine for a free to play game. If you've got a free to play model and you need to get that money in, that's you need to do that. But in the case where you've dropped $60 on a game, I don't think there's firstly not much incentive for it, and secondly it's just money grabbing. And
Is
it's
there, because the thing that annoys, none come to mind for me that I've played that are actually paid games that have had that content in them. But
Yeah.
if there's a way to earn that content in the game that's also not by paying,
yeah.
that's when because like, I always think about Hearthstone, right? So obviously that's a free to play game, so it's different. But you can earn the gold to buy the card packs,
Yeah.
or you can buy them and it's faster. Like I kind of think that, or you can buy them and it's faster thing is alright.
Yeah.
But if you've kind of got people that have paid money and now they're better at the game because they've got these things that no one else can get,
Yeah.
Well, that's it.
throws
So,
everything out, right?
so with Evolve, it was a game that had a whole lot of press going up to it. It won multiple Game of the Shows at E3.
Yeah.
Heaps of people were excited for it. It came out, and all that just kind of dropped off instantly, and all of a sudden the game was over and done with. You know, I don't know if that was anything to do with the microtransactions, but I mean, you're saying that those microtransactions didn't actually take away from the game. So was all the core gameplay there on day one?
I believe it was. The only thing that took away from the game was them trying to push you to buy more things when you've already...
See, I don't have too much of a problem with the idea of there being skins and stuff that if you want them, then you can pay for them. Yeah. That's fine, but you don't have to buy them.
Yeah.
That's fine. It's like there's certain things like with the microtransactions and more free-to-play games, not so much Hearthstone, but some of the mobile ones where you've got like, yes, you can build up the currency to get something, but those have all, like the lengths of time, if you're just going to do it naturally, that's all been, falsely extended out to make you try to push you or guide you towards paying for them. Again, for the free ones, again, that's fine. Like, that's how they make their money. That's absolutely fine. But when you're paying for a game already, things like... I think Dead Space 3 did it okay. That was the one that sort of kicked off the big paid game with microtransactions, where you could just buy a bunch of stuff straight from the get-go. Yeah. But you could, with the progression of the game, earn all of that stuff anyway. And it all sort of unraveled at a natural pace in comparison to the other ones as well. But just knowing they were there, seeing them and being tempted by them from the moment you came to one of their stores... It's kind of like, I don't know, it's a little tempting, right? You go, someone's playing this right now and they've just got this gun. And it's also, it gets rid of that, I wonder what guns are going to appear in the, when the harder parts of this thing, you can see it, you know what it is, there's no kind of moment.
Yeah, I always think about it in the terms of fighting games and how those have changed.
I just remembered Mortal Kombat.
Because, back PlayStation 2, Tekken 2 days, Tekken Tag, you would have, you start off with your base roster of players. And then you'd have like double that roster that you'd go through by playing the arcade mode and unlocking those characters, discovering different outfits and that sort of thing. And all that is gone out of fighting games now. That's true. Now you get your base roster and everything else is paid. You pay for your DLC for your outfits, your DLC for your new characters, and the game is less now. So it's one of those games that you got a lot more for your $100 in New Zealand, $60 in America. Back when it was like the PlayStation 2 era, you get less now. Now there could be multiple sides to that. Games have cost the same forever, but there's been no inflation in games. So taking that into account, publisher profit has declined on that side of things. They're fighting inflation. So having those revenue streams put into the game now is like one of the only ways to actually turn a profit.
It's true.
So it is double dipping a little bit, and Street Fighter is especially bad for it because you've got your DLC, then you've got your 8 versions of the game that they bring out every year, where they're actually making balance changes and making you buy a whole other copy of that.
So they don't just release DLC patches to do the balance changing?
No, so you've got your Street Fighter 4, your Super Street Fighter 4, Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition, and so on and so on.
Yeah, I think it's tiring.
So I think people are sick of that now, and they've announced that Street Fighter 5 will be the only version of it.
Oh, really?
And that they're taking a League of Legends kind of model to their DLC from now on. You'll be able to earn currency in game.
Oh wow!
And buy DLC characters with that. And like the internet's like, yay! We don't have to buy these characters. I'm quite aware that that's going to be very hard currency to earn.
Yeah, and you'll be able to buy the currency.
Yeah,
it's a good loyalty system though. Play loads and we'll reward you.
But it's play loads.
Oh, that's what they want, right?
It's standing
and also, like, are we as a group sort of more smorgasbord gamers than your average gamer?
I'd say
definitely.
I think we are. Like, we play a lot of small parts of games. And,
so we're the ones that miss out here, I guess, because we don't get to experience that roster of players.
We're probably going to want to just sit down and just have like the equivalent of what we'd spend on any game and experience the whole game instead of having to wait months of playing to finally get that last character.
I do wonder who they target with that kind of system, because who they want to buy it? Do they want the casual people like us to buy that because we're not going to earn the in-game currency? But then on the same side of the coin, the people that are playing it really hardcore probably just going to buy it. So I guess they target everyone. Like, no one's going to actually.
I mean, they consider casual people. They'll just play what's actually there and they'll be happy with it because they're casual. They probably won't even get through all the main content. So there's that thing. But there is a big controversy outside of that where you've got things like World of Warcraft, which has changed in a way to suit the casual player so that everyone can enjoy all the content, which is a really weird model, and a lot of the hardcore fans of World of Warcraft really hate that, because you've got things like looking for raid and you don't have to spend that much time in the game just to do everything. I think that's a really cool model. There's still those challenge modes out there, and I think that there wasn't enough challenge mode stuff in World of Warcraft to keep the hardcore going in in Draenor, but yeah.
World of Warcraft.
But actually,
It's like
Evolve
its
had
own
the...
little universe. No, I'm just thinking about World of Warcraft.
Yeah. But Evolve had the same issue as what you were saying with Street Fighter. There basically wasn't any variety in the game. It was like three regular classes and then the 2 monsters, and that was it. So it basically forced people to buy new stuff in the game to actually have fun with it. I think that's what the controversy was more based around.
What about your thoughts on how Microsoft did Killer Instinct, where they had basically, it was free, and you got two characters. Was it two characters? I think it was, and then you could buy characters on top.
I think it was one.
It was
one
one,
character. Or you could buy the game. And you get all your characters.
I personally like that. I like the idea of being able to try lots of
I liked
things.
the demo.
I think that's a way to go. And I was going to ask as well, when do you think we'll start seeing more free-to-play games come to console?
Yeah.
The thing with Killer Instinct was, though, I don't think it was enough of a game right off the bat. Like, the full retail copy still only had about 6 or 8 characters.
Well, the Killer Instinct world doesn't have that many characters. I think that's the problem. Like,
they're all
I
dead.
think they had. I think they added a couple more, and even then, it's that game hadn't had a release since the Nintendo 64 days, I think.
Yep.
No.
And they used the same characters. I don't believe they added any more than the Super Nintendo version had.
Yeah.
So I think there was like 6, I think, in the
Yeah.
original game. And I think there might be 8. 8 now?
No, I think they've released a few more because they
Oh,
had
they've got a few more
they had
now?
a season 2, so they might be up to
Oh,
like 10 or
okay,
12.
okay, cool.
Wow.
So they've
Yeah.
probably added a few more now. But even that is pretty low in comparison to most fighters these days.
Yeah, but the episodic thing, I'm quite keen on. Like, I've always imagined a Dragon Ball Z 2D fighting game coming out, and just you launch with the Saiyan Saga. So you've got like 6 characters of your base Saiyan Saga characters, and then the Frieza Saga comes on top of that, and you've got Yukin, U-Force, and Frieza and stuff, and it grows, but it all would have to run off the same engine.
Right.
And so you wouldn't get that much,
Yeah.
from season to season, you wouldn't get that much gameplay
Right.
upscaling. So.
But you haven't seen much expansions coming out these days, do you? There's no games
For
where you just
console
like
games,
the
not
X
so much.
expansion, huh?
Like,
yeah,
no, definitely not for
not
consoles.
I haven't seen many
Yeah.
for
It's
PC
always
coming
a-
out. It's always a sequel.
Yeah.
Or they work on developing the game as it goes, which is kind of episodic. And Telltale's is perfect at doing that.
Yeah.
Destiny's really the only one doing it.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, because back like last generation, the Xbox 360 generation, you had Mass Effect and Assassin's Creed releasing big story chunks afterwards, and you'd pay $15 to $20 and you actually had a decent sort of add-on to the story. I don't think I've seen anything like that for
It's actually
this
really
generation.
powerful to someone like me though. Like I find
Yeah.
expansions extremely
Me too,
like
yeah.
I get excited about them, and like I think I've put all this effort into something already.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
prepared to put more effort
Yeah.
into do so that's a good way to take my money, game studios.
But
do
yeah,
that.
I think they've realised though that that's not the best business model.
No, maybe not.
No.
So they're doing a large amount of development for something that maybe 30% of their audience
If that.
require.
Yeah,
if that.
Why am I
And-
never the majority?
Yeah. And so the better business model for them, the one that brings in the most money, is the one that takes the most money from us. You know?
Right.
And that's things like the microtransactions, small development costs, and you have people that are spending thousands, like making sure they've got all those little items that no one else cares about.
They've got a name. They're called a whale.
Yeah,
Whales.
so that's the
Yeah.
whole thing. The
Whales,
minnows,
dolphins,
dolphins, and
and
whales.
Yeah,
strategy,
yeah.
Like, that's the best way they can make money, because you got 80% of people that are not going to buy anything, and then you've got like 20% of people that are just forking out cash and cash and cash. And
Yeah.
Have you guys done that with any game other than Hearthstone?
Hearthstone.
Hearthstone's taken a lot of my money.
Yeah.
Has there been anything else that I've donated to frequently?
No.
I don't think so.
No, I'm not that kind of. If I have to lay down so much money to win, then I'm
Yeah.
not. But I think Hearthstone is the perfect balance of that.
Yeah.
Where I
Yeah.
feel like I do get things for my money.
Plus, it didn't cost you to get the game as well.
No.
So it's
Yeah.
a free
Yeah.
game. It's okay.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
encourages you.
Yeah.
It's an all
And it kind of, they
universe.
pace it out, so
Yeah,
it seems
that's
like
it.
manageable bite
Yeah,
size.
so I
amounts.
buy like a 50 pack of cards when a new expansion comes out. It sends
Yeah.
me back like $70 or
Are
something.
you serious?
Yeah.
Oh.
But that gets me through to the next expansion like 3 or 4 months later. So
Right.
I'm not spending money every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the continuous MMO, like you spend $50, you get that much content.
Yeah.
Do amiibo fall into this category?
Oh,
Because I can see some. I can see some over
There's
there.
a few amiibo around the place.
Yeah. So again, so these are basically DLC that comes with nothing. Like you get a character, and they're selling them for in New Zealand about $25.
Yeah.
And you can. It gives you some skins and some games.
Which is so cute.
I've never bought an amiibo for anything in game.
I have.
Have you?
I have actually.
Yeah,
I have.
Yeah. So I bought my Rosalina. I don't particularly love Rosalina the character. Like, she's cool, but I probably don't love her amiibo the best. But her Mario Kart 8 outfit is freaking awesome. That's why I bought it.
I got the Pac-Man one for Mario Kart 8 as well. Just having the little animated Pac-Man.
Yeah.
Like $25 for my character.
It's a helmet on.
My Mii character that I barely ever race in
Yeah.
can occasionally, if I decide to choose it, have an animated Pac-Man on the back of his helmet.
It's green.
But I bought pretty much all of the Zelda characters for Hyrule Warriors because they unlock stronger weapons.
I haven't played that yet.
I would love them to do more with the amiibo.
Yeah,
like if I
yeah.
could put my Charizard on my gamepad and then Charizard is actually driving the cart. Like,
It might be
paying
asking a bit
$40-50
much.
for that. Like, I mean, like,
I think Mario Maker is then probably the closest one to give you what you're wanting,
Yeah.
which every I think it's every amiibo is supported, and it turns Mario into that character in Mario Maker. I've only seen some 8-bit ones, but I assume it goes across all of the different art styles as well.
Yeah.
They don't control any differently. Like, they control just like Mario, but it looks like the amiibo you've scanned in.
that game's going to be amazing.
That's going to be
It's
huge.
going to be amazing.
I can imagine someone will just recreate Wario World and you put your Wario amiibo on it and all of a sudden you win.
Yeah,
the game was
that would be
last,
awesome, actually.
last time was Super Mario 3.
It was.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay, good. Whew.
With the shoulder
I
charge.
can't be wrong with these things. Damage my ego.
Credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The but with going back to the microtransactions, Mario Maker is like the perfect thing that Nintendo could have just gone the EA, the Activision kind of way, and said, okay, you can make all your levels and it'll look like the original Mario. Pay an extra $15 and you can get the Super Mario skins and stuff like that. So it's good to see Nintendo just letting that be itself, be its own thing.
Or did they just not think about it and now they're sitting there going, damn it.
Nintendo does, all Japanese companies still do business in the 90s.
That's true.
Very traditional profit margin on product. You know, we send it out, people buy it, we get the money in.
Yeah.
So that's great for us because, you know, they're not stealing all our money and we get a full product when we pay for it.
That actually is perfect in how they said it was going to be, which is the best part about Nintendo.
And that's it, you don't see a lot of their games come out broken.
No,
either.
you don't.
No, Nintendo's pretty good with that.
Yeah. So that's a good comparison actually if you want to know about kind of where the state of the industry is at the moment. Just compare Nintendo games to like
Everything
games
else.
springing up by like anything else, and you can see that the
Assassin's Creed, we're looking at
Well, Nintendo came out recently to say they are not going to annualize any of their franchises. They've got no interest in it. It'll just water it down. And like, I can't agree with that more now that the new Assassin's Creed's coming out in November, like it always does. And this is the first one I've got zero interest in.
No.
I've bought every single one except for Rogue. And Unity sucked, and this one just looks like Unity 2, and it's just, I'm just done. And that hurts.
I was out at 3.
It does hurt.
Yeah, well, you missed out 4. Black Flag
I
was
played
amazing.
I've played a bit of that, but I borrowed it. I didn't buy it.
Right.
So I only played it because it's like the pirate ships and mint.
That was the
That's
thing.
why everyone
when they're not disappearing and the water's that was the
like emerging from the water. That was the peak of Assassin's Creed. Then they thought, they said, we've made the perfect Assassin's Creed game, let's go back to shit.
Yeah.
And they just went, and Unity was terrible. It looked great, but it just played terribly.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's
So
a
that's our
franchise
thoughts.
that's going to the dust.
Yeah, because they're adding microtransactions as well. So that's another game that's full price that has a lot of microtransactions.
There's
Just
a business
lot.
there for it. I bet there's enough Assassin's Creed hardcore market that'll pay $500 in that game.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. There'll be a whale for that game for sure. Whale or two.
Yeah.
That are like, we're doing something right.
And they're
It's like-
ruining it for everyone.
Yeah. So if you're one of those guys,
Assassin's Creed
No.
Online.
no.
All right.
See,
Ruining it
yeah.
for
let's not mock the
Yeah.
multiplayer. That was amazing until they added microtransactions to the online.
Should we move on?
Yeah.
Sure.
Cool. All right.
Cool.
So who would like to introduce leftovers and what that's about?
Ooh, who's got leftovers?
We need like a plate like thrown into shot with some
Empty,
food on it, and then
random
just someone
crap.
Looks
burping.
half eaten.
Yeah.
just out of the fridge into the microwave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just pizza for breakfast, eh?
Yeah.
They're always the best
We could probably
leftovers.
shoot these
I had
videos.
curry for breakfast this morning.
Oh,
That's
weird.
good.
That is actually
That's
good.
good.
Yeah,
It was
see, I
weird because I
thought-
got here and it smelled like curry and it was like.
See, I'm someone that
10:30.
like I have no distinction between breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah,
I can
me
eat
too.
the same thing. Like I could, doesn't matter.
Really?
No.
I'll have a steak for breakfast. I'll have, I don't
But
know.
you're wrong because you're missing out on the best
But
meal of the day, which is
Oh.
breakfast foods.
And I'll have it on for dinner.
Well,
yeah.
I've done like the
Finish at the
opposite.
best
of
way.
that.
Left is right and up is down.
I've done like
Breakfast.
3 meals of muesli once,
Oh,
which is
yes.
like that's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the
yeah.
saddest
Yeah.
way to have the same meal.
Yeah.
I have the same meal all day. It's not good.
Yeah,
I,
cereal for all meals is
and-
fine.
In a lot of Asian countries, they have like soup and noodles for breakfast.
Yeah.
and I'm
No,
into
you're not
that.
getting
I'll be
me
into
one.
Yeah.
that. That'd be a great breakfast.
Yeah.
No, you're all wrong.
All right.
Breakfast.
So are you saying to the
breakfast,
Asian
breakfast.
viewers,
Oh,
they're wrong?
They should have breakfast.
Into the camera.
they should have.
You should have
still
breakfast.
food.
It's still yeah.
But
It's
what
still
about
sugary
toast
crisps.
and pancakes and
Toast
waffles?
isn't good for you.
That's not.
Did
None
I
of those
say
are really
what?
good.
Does it have to be good
Whole
for you?
grain.
Yesterday we were having a good discussion about healthy foods and we were going through like what we should eat. Nothing that was good for you was tasty at all, and
No,
John was like, "Am I
no.
supposed to eat grass?"
Those
No.
wheatgrass shots.
Yeah, people do eat grass, don't they?
Disgusting.
Yeah, it's
It's
gross.
like for an hour afterwards, you're burping up like lawn clippings. It's
The
disgusting.
speaking from experience. Or?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
a lot of
horrid.
people into it, eh? People
So,
do stupid things.
about the leftover
Terrifying.
games.
Oh,
Right.
games.
Games.
Oh, right.
Games.
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 Leftover food.
Well, I got back into Banished.
Banished.
Which was one of those
Yes.
games where I saw it like when it first came out, and I was like, finally a game like Settlers, like the original Settlers. I was like, this is going to be great. And I bought it and I downloaded it and I went through the tutorial. I'm like, wow, this is actually very, very full on. Went through all the tutorials, started just a normal difficulty game, and within, I think it was okay, but like within maybe an hour, everyone was just dying of random things.
Sounds like when I played Fallout Shelter.
So for anyone who's unaware of what Banished is, it's basically a small group of people have been banished from a local township,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they've been given a cart with some supplies on it.
Right.
And it's up to
Stuff.
you as their overbearing god to give them, tell them to build houses and roads and assign them as fishermen
It's on
and
PC,
woodcutters and
isn't it?
stuff. Yeah, it's on
Yes.
PC.
Very fun.
So I sucked it at that time. It was so full on with the amount of things you got to look after, and I just kind of went, you know what? Never mind. It's not what I
Leadership
was-
is not for me.
not for me, yeah. Banished is too hard. So I thought recently I had some spare time and I was like, okay, we'll jump back into that and give it another look at. And I'd completely forgotten how to play, so I went through all the tutorials again and was reminded how deep the game was. And I thought this time I'm just going to start on easy, which is they give you a couple of houses to begin with as well and a storage shed and stuff like that. And there's a few less things you got to worry about, like,
Threats.
and well, not only that, but even like in the normal mode when you're fishing, you can sort of use up all the fish in that area. So then you've got to
Yeah,
move
fine.
them somewhere else.
Right.
In easy mode, you don't have to worry about that.
Right.
You can just fish there and fish there
There's
for the
always
rest
fish
of the
in
game.
the sea.
And so everything was going great. I've got fishermen doing this stuff. There's heaps of food in storage. I've got woodcutters cutting wood. I've got being turned into firewood for the houses to keep them warm through the winter and stuff like that. A couple of babies popping up, children growing up. And it got to a point
Nice.
where the first lot of people were dying of old age. And I realized, because I'd checked the houses and there looked like there was room for more people, but that's not how things work in Banished.
Yeah.
Just because there's room for more people doesn't mean people are going to start creating babies to fill that spot.
Where do I go?
Because they're kind of like, well, I don't have privacy, so I'm not going to worry about that kind of thing. So all of a sudden, I've just got this group of like 60-year-olds just like dropping off, and my population of like 28 is just dropping and dropping and dropping, and no one wanted to procreate anymore.
This is real problems. So you can
It's
relate
real
to the
crazy,
real
yeah.
world here.
Yeah. So I pushed that one to the side and started a new one. And so it really, like, the idea of creating new houses as often as possible.
Yeah.
So as soon as someone turns to like 18, I think it is, they can move out of home into their own home, and then they start shacking up with others and creating more babies. But you just got to I found
More
out
houses.
you need the houses are important. Those are. So you've played a bit of Banished as well.
Yeah, I played a
How
bit
did
of
you
Banished.
fare?
I did a thing which I might add to another segment, another version of Hot Chips. Giving it away here.
Right.
So, and that's I watched a crap load of gameplay before I bought the game.
Right.
And I sort of figured it out, and I was watching
Classic
tutorials.
Theo.
Mainly because I was like, this seems really, really fun, but it's probably not something I want to invest a lot of time into, so let's just watch how it goes. And then my friend got it, and we were like, let's compare towns and things. So I picked it up, and I sort of knew how it went along.
Right.
But after I made a big town and people were doing things, they were fine. I started on easy because I knew everybody, like from all of the comments, half the comments were, it was all positive by the way, but it was just like, started a town, everybody died, 10 out of 10. The casual Steam comments, fantastic. People got cold or something, you know, oh, we didn't have enough firewood. But there's a lot in the game. There's so much you have to pay attention to. And that's kind of what got me. Like I got to the point where I'd recognized everything that could be recognized in the game just by looking at the UI and figuring out what's going on. But there's a lot in the game that you're not told about that you kind of have to figure out, like when traders come by, how to get chickens and wheat and something like that. And you don't know until it happens in the game, and then you're trying to build your game around that. Like I made a farm, and I was like, "Where's the stuff that puts in?" I thought it just gave me stuff. And I was like, people go out and hunt. You're killing the things, but bring them back. And so I don't. Yeah, it was really hard to figure out at that sort of halfway mark until you did a lot of research, and I fall out from a lot of games in that. But then I went on again and watched a YouTuber that had grown this massive town. I was like, yeah, let's do it. So it was very engaging. It was a lot of fun.
The traders got me because I was like, all right, I've got the trading post, and I'll just bring a bunch of stuff that I'm happy to trade. And then someone shows up, and they've got some stuff I want. And I'm like, okay, cool. You can. It sort of assigns a value. So if you want like 300 points of their stuff, you've got to offer 300 points of your stuff. And like, all of my stuff, even though I had stuff, was grayed out. And I'm like, what is good? And see, I didn't even think of that. I was like, I didn't realize that these traders actually had specific things that they were looking for. So all of a sudden, I had nothing they wanted. And they had a bunch of stuff that I was like, I need this stuff. Like my people are going to die without this stuff.
Game in the world.
People are fickle creatures. It's like a sim game, and everybody's got their own moves that you can't control.
So with these games, often, you know, the point I'm like, should I get into this? Does it have an end goal?
No.
Do you go back and like attack those people that kicked you out originally?
No.
So you just
there's no end goal.
That would be
That's how
so
long
good.
can you go for?
Banished DLC,
So
Revenge.
like
Banished Revenge, I like it.
So is that the same as what's the game we saw at E3? Anno.
It's like Anno.
Yeah,
Anno looks great.
Yeah, it does.
That looks
It does
so
look
good.
It's
Every single time a new Anno game comes out, I'm like, I'm totally buying this. I haven't bought a single one.
Yeah, neither, but I really would love to.
Yeah.
It does look really, really
I feel like
slick.
that point is a failure though. That's you've got a point. Like, there's no end game, but with, you look at SimCity, you're like, oh, there's not really any end game to that. There is. You destroy your magnificent city. You get the robot and it tramples over everything, and you feel really good. And you can't do that in Banished, and I feel like that would be a great addition.
I just feel there's a lot of time going in there with not much payoff at the end. Like, well, your city will get to this point, or your town gets to a point that's so big where it's like, I've done everything I want to do. Do you just walk away then?
You basically play it till you get bored.
Post it on social media, get a couple of likes.
It is like one step away from being the original Settlers, which is all it needs now is the ability to create barracks and then create armies and move them over. But I mean, this game was created by one person. One person made that game. So I'm kind of the fact that he doesn't have a certain bits and pieces, I'm okay, you know.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah,
cool.
It is fantastic.
Yeah, it's a great game.
Yeah,
good leftovers.
Yeah,
sounds cool.
Delicious. I like it.
Yum.
Anyone else played anything? Caught up on anything? I haven't caught up on anything.
I started Metro Last Light Redux.
Oh yeah, nice.
Isn't a particularly new game.
Redo?
Is it Redo or Redux?
Redux. It's
Is
Redux.
it? Oh, I always thought it was
I don't even know.
Redo.
It's got an X on there.
Yeah, let's say it's got Redo.
Redo.
It's French.
Yeah.
Oh god, no, I don't know
Oh,
now.
no.
That's how the Russian are they Russian developers?
It's not French though.
I
I
don't
thought
know.
Redo is a French word.
Oh god, someone Google it. How do we say
I'm
redo?
totally
How do
gonna-
we say redo?
Keep talking.
But they call it Redux in like all of their titles and descriptions and everything like
But
that.
do they say it? Or
They
is
say
it
it,
written?
they say it.
Oh,
Like
okay.
it comes
Say
up
it.
in the title. In the YouTube video or whatever the trailer. Metro like Redux.
Okay.
You know.
Interesting.
It is. Which is like Reducklings.
Jordan
But yes.
and you both say things wrong.
Yeah. It's a fantastic game, which I think is based on novels, actually, where it's like there's been a nuclear issue or whatever problem. Bombs have fallen
Nuclear problem.
in Russia, I guess it's Russia, everybody's Russian, and they all hold out in the metros, in the metro stations.
Right.
And they create lives in the metro, and it's the whole idea of the game is it's very immersive and it's got all this atmosphere to it, and that's what really grabbed me to this game in particular, and what works. Metro Last Light, by the way, is the sequel to Metro 2033, and it carries on from that. and you're the same character, everything. But the game is just really, it's so immersive and it's so thick.
Sorry.
Is it resilient?
Ducks.
It's we'll just see if we can.
And the pronunciation thing.
I know, but I wanted to actually
you wanted
say
to
it.
say
Just
it.
to,
Say it.
so everyone
Into
else
the
is-
mic, please.
Redux.
Oh!
Yeah.
Redux.
We
Just
admit
again.
our wrongness.
C'est vrai!
Yeah.
Redux.
I always said it
It's
redo.
French.
Is it French?
I don't know. It didn't say anything about
Probably
French.
is.
Doesn't matter.
Oh, now that you're wrong, it doesn't matter.
I'm just wrong. Yeah.
So it's a shooter, right?
It's a shooter, yeah. It's a first-person shooter, and there are a couple of really cool mechanics that I love. So the ammo you use to shoot is the currency in the
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
So every time you shoot a bullet, you're choosing between whether or not
Makes
you want to buy
sense, I
something.
guess.
Yeah.
That's
it
kinda
makes
cool, I
sense.
like
The shinier and better quality the bullets,
Yes.
the more they are
Yeah.
worth.
Yeah. The rusty ones.
But they also, the shinier and better they are, the more damage they do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So you kinda-
yeah.
yeah.
There's this big
I like
constant
that.
That
outlay.
is cool.
It's really, really cool. And you like when you're on the surface, because there's been all this radiation, you got to wear a gas mask. And I think they had this in 2033 as well, but it was more prevalent in Last Light. When you walk over mud puddles or there's a bit of a storm or something like that, it appears on your visor and you can wipe it away. And you've got to
Yeah,
actively
that
wipe it away,
I
otherwise
remember
you
seeing
cannot
this
see
on trailers.
anything.
Yeah.
Which is just as really cool. You look at it and you're like, oh, you're just wiping stuff away. It's a crappy mechanic that just makes you do stuff. But it's really important for immersing you in it, and it's really important for keeping you active in the game and
Yeah.
thinking you're a real person moving around. You've got to do these things.
The immersion in that game is massive.
It's crazy.
It is the one first-person shooter that I think they need to redo for virtual reality, because obviously
Yes.
you've already
That
got that
would be
feeling of a
interesting.
mask
Or
on.
even
Yeah.
redux it for
Just redo it for.
For Metro Last Light, you can use the Oculus, but for the life of me, I can't get it to work.
Oh, you can't do it?
Well, it's
Can't do it.
third-party injectors, so it's not
It
made
is.
for.
Yeah,
Right.
it's not made
Right.
for Oculus.
Okay.
Cool.
But I can just imagine games like that.
That'd be
Just
great.
fantastic.
Just having stuff on the lenses when it already feels like you have something on anyway,
Yeah.
would just add to that immersion.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah,
great.
but I'm still at the beginning of it, but I've fallen back in love with that. I loved Metro 2033, played through the whole thing of that. Sadly, no, I won't say that. That'll be a spoiler. I was going to
Yeah,
talk
we
about
should
the ending
try
of the
and keep
game,
it
like how it
spoiler-free, I
continued.
think.
So
Yeah.
there's that. That's lucky that I can't spoil it because that much. It's like me to just blurt stuff out.
Yes.
Usually.
We'll have to
But
have
the
Theo
stars.
like spoils things like
There you go.
it'd be like you're swearing lots, but it's
Yeah.
just spoilers.
Yes.
Cool.
So Metro Last Light Redux is available on
Redux.
PC,
It's available on
PS4,
PC, yeah.
Xbox One.
I believe
Is that
it's
right?
on
I'm not
Yeah.
I only know about PC. You
I think it's-
console
I don't
lives.
think-
Don't ask Theo to think about consoles.
I think the Redux was made for the consoles
Yeah,
and then got
yeah,
the
I
release
think
on
so.
the PC.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Cool.
which was
Yeah,
great.
that's-
It was like the release of console, the gaming console.
Yeah.
And you'd recommend it?
I would totally recommend it.
Absolutely.
The Redux version also added destructibility to your environment, so
Oh.
now it's a real bitch to try and hide, and because
Yeah.
the game has a lot of stealth element, by the
Yeah.
way, so that's a really good way to save ammo, your currency. But if you hide behind a wall and you accidentally shoot something, or you
Yeah.
shine your light accidentally at something, then the wall's going to basically crumble on top of you. You're like, God damn it! The wall was protected. No.
Oh, that really frustrates me in games.
You don't want
when I
destruction?
think I'm safe, and I'm just like, I just like to chill there and take my time. But it's like that thing's coming down.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of a game that did that. I think
So
it's
you-
Uncharted that does that, right?
So you don't want destruction in video games?
He wants to be able to hide behind
Yeah.
things and they
Yeah,
be
yeah.
solid.
yeah.
Just like set up a tent.
I don't know. I guess there's a balance between how realistic is a game and how fun is it. Like,
Right, yeah.
True.
Yeah, that's
Like
fair,
if
that's
they were
fair.
really realistic, like you go get shot once and you'd be out.
That's right.
Obviously.
The right way to do it, though, is to make it so that it's a mechanic, so that the destructibility of the environment is conducive to the fact that you have to move around a lot,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
needs to work into the gameplay. And it
Yeah.
doesn't work quite well into the gameplay of shooters unless it's run and gun. For things like stealth and stuff like that, you
Yeah.
don't want people to run and gun, but it sort of encourages them to do that. It's hard. It's a big give and
Yeah.
take.
I think with Uncharted, what they did was they started with a certain size of, something cover that you could get in behind.
Yeah.
And as,
Yeah,
as
it
the
got smaller
bullets,
and smaller.
it just got smaller.
Yeah.
And it got to a point where it wouldn't get any smaller than a certain size.
All
So
right.
they had a max and a minimum size. And that was just to, like you say, it was just to force you to try and find something else.
Try to
You could
Right.
stay behind, but you'd probably get a few bullets in you.
Yeah.
Not all bullets.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Are we going to rate our leftovers?
Yep.
I just wondered.
Oh.
Like, I don't know if it could be out of 10 or if it's like an ABC.
Maybe the people that didn't do the leftovers should rate them
What?
based on how they sold them.
Yeah,
No,
well,
yeah.
and we
Yeah.
shouldn't have numbers. It should be like, how delicious was it?
Oh, yeah.
Was it a
How many? That's 5. That was delicious. Okay, well, Banished sounds like it's a really sloppy burger that's hard to eat,
Ooh.
but it's probably really good. That's how I kind of was feeling about Banished. What if we've all played the game? How will this rating system work?
We'll keep with that when we come to it.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
But I guess
On the fly.
I do
Banished-
love that food description though.
Banished to me was like, I couldn't just microwave that up. Like, I would need to go to the supermarket, get like some
gotta
different
prepare.
ingredients,
You gotta
prepare
prepare.
it. Like
It's a recipe.
there's a lot of time in there, and maybe it's not my preference.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
That's it. Yeah, I'm sure it's delicious. It sounds like a bit of a delicacy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
acquired
Yeah,
taste.
acquired taste.
That makes sense, yeah.
Metro Last Light. That sounds like something that I would heat up.
That's
Tasty.
quick and dirty leftovers for sure. Well, I think all shooters probably are.
Yeah. Or, no, but shooters like bore me a lot of the time. It's like
Yeah.
toast.
Yeah.
You know, but this sounds like it's immersive and a decent story.
Yeah.
You know,
It's got some good things going.
interesting mechanics. So you know,
It's toast with a really nice spread.
Yeah.
so I'm pretty keen to reheat
Well, did
that.
you have toast as leftovers?
Yeah.
Like, who's having one piece of toast and going, you know what? I'll have the rest later. That's going in the fridge.
Don't want to waste that peanut butter. I'll spread it on there.
Yeah, maybe not. Bad.
That sounds more like you're gonna scrape it off and put it back in the jar.
And just put that bit of toast back in the loaf of bread as
Yeah.
well. Seal it back
Yeah.
up.
Gross.
You have to do 3 layers of toast before you get a fresh piece out.
Sorry to all the people who saved their toast that we've just offended.
Who are you? Who are
Get
you?
in touch. Get in touch. Oh, we want to hear from you.
Interviews.
Call the show.
Yeah.
Okay,
Alrighty. So I think
choice.
we have one last thing to talk about. A special order for this week.
Yes.
This is again, so we need coming right up. And
Yeah,
it's like
special order.
something-
Should
That's
I...
it.
like a bell. Bing.
Welcome back.
Cool.
Ding.
I think
Are we
actually-
putting ads and sponsors in these gaps? That's
should.
like the
Yeah.
perfect time for those.
Should
the
read stuff
podcast
out.
is sponsored by Leaping Tiger.
Download today.
I wore their shirt.
Their shit.
Shoes. Do they do that?
I could say, and Theo's wearing their shirt. I could say their shirt.
Right,
Yes,
yeah,
yeah.
okay, yeah, okay,
It's a loophole.
Right.
I was about to say something.
But speaking of
Interesting.
sponsors, we should at some point look
Do
at.
you want to
Yes.
sponsor us?
If you think this is good enough, if you think people are going to be watching this and you want to get your product
Yeah.
out there,
We'll even we'll display it. We'll test it.
we'll
for you.
display it, we'll
Yeah.
test it, we'll
Email
talk about
us.
it, and we'll talk about it in a way that is
Related to
inters-
fish and chips.
and we'll intersperse it in between our cuts just for you.
Yeah.
Hot
Yeah.
chips at
Yeah.
saltybastards.com.
Only if
Yeah.
it's cool though. Please only.
Even if it's not cool, my food bag, I need food,
Oh.
so my food bag.
Wait, are you saying
That
my
is
food bag's
cool.
not cool? 'Cause
Well,
it is.
I'm saying I don't have it,
Oh, okay, right.
and that if they want to get in on
Sponsor it.
sponsoring by
Yeah.
Hot
giving
Chip
me
Podcast
some,
is sponsored
by
by
my food bag.
That fits.
if anyone
in
knows
touch,
anyone
mate.
at my
Stop
food
wrecking the
bag,
table.
let us. Sorry, I'm just that excited about it. Like.
Someone could sponsor us for a boom for the microphone.
Yeah,
Boom
that'd be
for
good.
like
That'd
a
be
video
great.
camera. No, I don't.
We
Sony.
need, so,
hey.
wait. We
Sony.
need food.
Food first.
And a boom for our microphone.
Yeah.
And a camera.
The camera's
The
good.
camera's
The
okay.
camera's okay.
Yeah, camera's good.
It's good.
I want to win the first podcast will be when we don't have to cut edit anything.
No, because it works though. Because ad spot, you could have your ad in between
Yeah,
those
that's
cuts.
it.
Yeah.
Let's put like demo ads in so people can be like,
Like
oh,
us
yeah,
singing
interesting.
jingles.
Yeah. We'll pick
My
an
food
ad,
bag.
and then we'll
I'm
like,
just getting on the my food bag.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Reagan
right
really
now.
would
you're really
like
into
my
that,
food.
eh?
I've-
Someone sponsor Reagan.
We could totally go to a local
To be honest-
store, local takeaway place, and they'd sponsor a bag of chips, and we'd have the bag
We
of chips.
could
open.
have that.
Oh yeah,
Probably
shout out
easily
to old
get chips.
Upper Hut
But all-
takeaway place.
There might be no correlation between people who own
Yeah.
fast food stores and people who care about our gaming podcast.
That's true. How about if Whitakers wants to get in as well? I think we all like
Right, are you just
chocolate.
listing the things that you like?
The things I
Is
like.
that- Okay,
Chip
right.
flavored Whitakers, I don't encourage them.
Chips.
Chocolate chips.
Right, so,
Chocolate
so
chips,
while
yes.
we're putting names out there, Apple New Zealand, I love
I
your
watch this for
products.
everybody.
Yeah, we need
If
some
we can just
Your
get
logos
free
and food.
stuff, we'll talk about you in a positive way. We can sell out. That's fine.
So that was 2.5 minutes of shameless
We got
self-promotion
this
and
lipstick.
advertising.
Seems like longer
Reagan,
than that.
cry out.
I was actually going to bring up the fact that we got viewers last time.
We
did,
We
yes.
got fans.
Thank you for watching.
Yeah,
Thank you
thank
very
you.
much.
Yeah, some good fans there. I was going to make a list and introduce them, but I
There's quite a
didn't
few
get to
though.
it.
Yeah, we couldn't.
Oh,
We
really?
couldn't fit that many.
While we're talking about that, it might be a good time to say if you want to pitch an idea for us or for something, a topic for us to talk about,
yes.
if you have a question for us in regards to our gaming histories,
Yes. Yeah.
anything, if there's an event that you know about that we haven't been talking about, let us
we
know.
should
Tell
support.
us in the comments.
New streamers you've met that you want to share with us.
Yeah, anything, just let us know.
Yeah,
Awesome.
for sure. That'd be good.
Maybe we should
Right.
do that for supporters each podcast. You know the fast scrolling thing that they do?
Yeah, it's the fan club. It just goes past.
Yeah.
And this will be going on the actual Hot Chips channel now, so
Yes, we have a
subscribe.
YouTube channel.
Subscribe here.
There's going to be a
and here.
subscribe. Click Amy's face to subscribe.
Subscribe on all of our faces.
I want to see you put a button in for each.
Yeah, for each one.
I'll try.
Who do
And
you
like they
support?
can only show up for a second,
Yes.
so it's like a mini game.
Go.gl them.
like a quick time.
Short link them
Yeah.
and track them. See who's the most popular face.
Yeah, hey,
Oh!
wow.
Just click on one
I'm
of them.
thinking of
Yeah,
two
yeah.
ways that are going to get this podcast to split up.
Alternatively, you can't click one of these boxes fast enough. Pay
Yeah.
$1.99
Yeah.
and you automatically subscribe.
Everyone's just going to hit the subscribe at the like underneath
Yeah.
the video.
Like, have it
Don't hit
moving
that
so
one.
they have to try and click it.
Yeah, that's what we're talking
I'm
about.
not sure if you can do that.
No, you
It would pause the video immediately. They'll get it right after.
Irrelevant.
Does it? Yeah. Anyway, okay. What are we talking about?
Special order.
this
Special
week.
order.
We're gonna. Our special order this week is
Wait. What is the special order, Jordan?
The special order is something a little bit outside the beat. What they say, the beaten
Beaten
track,
track.
off the beaten path track.
Right.
But it's,
So it doesn't fit
Off
into
the
one of our
regular-
will it
regular-
sometimes
Burger joint?
not be about games, or will it always
see,
be about games?
I wanted originally to talk about how shit the Fantastic Four movie was, but then Amy was like,
I
"That's
see.
not gaming."
No, it wasn't that it wasn't gaming. That's not why I said we shouldn't talk about it. It was that I think we should establish that we talk about gaming before we have a special order that's not gaming related.
Yeah. Aren't we nerd podcast? We're just doing nerd things, but we're gaming priority.
Gaming priority, yeah.
Gaming priority.
Yeah,
Give
'cause
it a
that's
game
our
priority.
specialty. But I think we can talk about things that aren't.
Well, this week we're going back to gaming,
My food bag.
Back to good.
And,
Like,
gaming.
sponsored by.
and we're talking about the Nintendo NX, which is coming out shortly or not. We don't know.
Who knows?
Shortly.
Is
Shortly?
it?
There's
We
nothing
don't know.
really announced for it.
Reagan
Yeah.
thinks shortly.
I've got so many theories on this thing.
And we're going to talk about theories, and we're probably going to update our theories at least bi-monthly until this thing comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How soon do you think it's coming out?
So Nintendo do something very specific. Well, they have for the Wii, they did for the Wii U. What they did is at their first E3 of mentioning it, they show tech demos.
Yeah.
They did that for the Wii, and they did that for the Wii U. The E3 after, they show all the games, and at the November or December of that same year, they release it. So one of two things is going to happen is E3 2016, they're going to show off the tech demos for the NX, and then 2017 they'll show the full thing of what it can do and release it at the end of 2017. So I think that's the safe bet.
Okay.
To me, that's the safe bet.
That seems realistic.
What I think could happen, since we've already seen Square Enix announce Dragon Quest 11
Yeah.
for it,
Yeah.
they've already announced that it's coming to the NX. I think we could see it. They might skip that first E3. I think what could happen is E3 2016. They just show the NX. And it launches end of 2016.
I think that's it.
The other reason I
Really?
think that
That's so soon.
the other reason I think that is the whole Legend of Zelda delay.
Yes.
Ah.
So every single Legend of Zelda has released on a November. It's not. They've delayed it out of 2015, and which means they're not going to push it up to February or March. They'll push it to
Another
November
November,
2016. Which, if by going by this, it'll make a great launch title.
It makes
so
fantastic
beautiful.
launch.
Will the
Oh
Wii
my
U
God.
then be the only Nintendo console to never have an original Zelda game?
Well, no, because what I think they might do is go down the Twilight Princess route, where they release it on the NX and the
And
Wii
the
U,
Wii U.
like Twilight Princess released on the GameCube and the Wii. So that could happen. The other thing if that doesn't happen, then I think Zelda and the NX will have a November 2017 launch, because they released a schedule of all their upcoming games. Things that had set release dates had them listed on them. Anything that had a loose 2016 release had 2016 written on it. Zelda had TBD, so even they aren't certain it's going to release next year.
Right.
And the same point last year, they had a set 2015, so they didn't have TBD this time last year.
Yeah.
They've pushed it to TBD now.
Right.
So even they don't know when it's going to come out. Well, if they do, they're not setting anything in stone, or they're trying not to hint at the fact that it's going to be a long time. So it'll either be November next year, or alongside the launch of NX, or it'll be the end of 2017 alongside the NX.
So no matter what you're saying, Zelda's coming.
It'll come. That's right. I think
Okay.
that's my guess.
So what is it?
What do I think
What
it's
is the
going to be?
NX? Yeah.
I think it's going to. Well, we're at a point where the Wii U is dying, and there needs to be a new home console. But the 3DS is already at a point where it is, by end of 2016, it will be 5 years old, I think. Yeah.
Wow.
Which is about how long Nintendo spend with a console. So I think the NX is going to be a double whammy. I think it's going to be a home console, and it's going to be a handheld that are going to share a platform. So they'll have, like sort of what they were trying to do with like Smash Brothers. They have one game that works on both systems, but making the systems that they run on so similar that all that's really going to be needed is little smaller assets. Make it easier to port them across.
It's like, almost like a 3DS that you sort of just dock and you have a controller.
Right.
That's the type of like.
Wouldn't you just use the
companionship
3DS or the handheld version as the controller?
Maybe.
Don't
design hardware, but that's like the level of syncing between the two things that I want. I want something that I can take away very easily. I bring it back and I.
So just
use it
one
on the big
platform,
screen. One thing.
One thing that you just take with you, and then you bring home and plug it into your TV, and you have a controller.
Yes, potentially something like that.
So does that mean, in your mind, they have? Would it be as powerful graphically as a PS4, or would it be as powerful as a PS Vita? Because
I want it to be as powerful as a PS4.
And there's no way that's going to be portable.
There is no way. But if it's something portable that sort of docks into something that's not, maybe.
So maybe
it shares its
when
brains.
you dock it, it gives it more CPU power.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know why you dock it. I want to dock it because I'm like, my identity lives on this thing.
It could charge it as well while it's docked, you know?
Maybe. So that's just, I just want them to be sunk and like, I don't want a friend code and a Wii code anymore. I want one thing.
Well, they've got their new Nintendo Online thing coming out September. It was meant to be September, so no one's heard anything about that.
I haven't heard anything more about that either, so I don't know. But
so everyone's saying that that's going to be one shared account. So that would be great. And again, that ties everyone's theories about the NX being a sort of a multi-system or one-system hybrid thingy.
Yeah. Any further bets?
What about a cloud-based network? So you would have Nintendo it's almost a virtual console, but it exists in the cloud. So you'd have your Apple TV NX system, which is tapping into these cloud-based games. So after more technical difficulties, we're going to get started again with my thoughts on what the NX could be. But first, there's a very important announcement that I make to Amy. If you're watching the podcast this far through, you're in for a delight.
I feel like you guys are not being very sensitive to what's just happened.
How's your Tamagotchi, Amy?
During the course of Hot Chips episode 2,
One.
I'm very sad to announce the death of my first Tamagotchi.
What was it called?
He didn't have a name. He wasn't with us.
He wasn't
enough.
loved. Just so you all know as well, Hutchie's fine. Hutchie is doing great.
So, is there any
better.
microtransactions to bring back to life?
No.
No.
Let's not talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. It's very raw. It's
gonna call him Arnold.
It's very fresh pain.
We're mourning Arnold.
So he's dead.
He's dead.
$5 and he's gone.
$5, that's it. Hutchie's asleep
I
now.
can start a new one.
It was $5 per Tamagotchi, or was it?
No. I can start a new one for free. But a moment of peace, please, for just...
Sorry, yeah.
Rest in peace, Tamagotchi number 1. Thank you.
Right. The NX. My thoughts on the NX. Imagine this, right? Imagine if a company known for gaming hardware decided it was time for them to move on, and instead of bringing out hardware, brought out a network, a cloud-based gaming system that worked on your phone, on PC, on a little box for your television. There was the Nintendo Virtual Console that was available on all these different platforms that you could stream games from the cloud.
I think that sounds amazing. And so very un-Nintendo.
Yeah. So something I mentioned before we had the technical difficulties was the something that I could imagine Nintendo doing would be releasing the NX and having like their virtual console on that machine being that sort of thing, cloud-based. All you're doing is streaming the video when you're, the input's going in. That I could imagine. Releasing just like no hardware, just something that streams everything. I'm with Amy. I don't think it's very Nintendo.
It's very un-Nintendo. It's almost just like you almost need to think: would Sony have done this in the 90s? And then you know what Nintendo's going to do.
Yeah.
Do you think the company that created the Wiimotes and the company that created the Wii U gamepad is not... That shouldn't have got a laugh.
Face it,
There's nothing wrong with that.
The new console's going to be a ball.
Do you imagine that company saying, no, we're not going to try and find some kind of cool hardware thing?
Yeah. Okay, right. I'll take it back. Alright, so what about this?
Yeah, they do new consoles to innovate game controllers.
They try to do something different than what everyone's doing.
Yeah.
And everyone else, Microsoft and Sony, I can absolutely see going that way.
Yeah.
My Sony TV, I've got it hooked up to, like, I think I'm in the US, and one of the apps has PlayStation Now just on the TV.
Yeah.
And if I had a good internet connection, I could pay the subscription fee. I don't need a PlayStation. That probably vibrated.
Yeah, that would have been so loud.
And I can just play, if I had a PlayStation 4 controller, which I do, I can play games through my TV without needing the PS4. I can't imagine Nintendo doing that for another 20 years.
Right.
I just remembered my second idea of what I thought the
Ah,
NX
here we
would
go.
be.
Okay.
Okay.
I actually, as we were
Real
talking about
stuff.
this, I remembered, because I was saying before, I don't remember what I thought it was. Now I remember. So, the Wii U is at a level now with the processing power is good enough for any Nintendo game.
Yes.
Now, we'll probably look at this a year ago and be like, they're way better. But I could see a new handheld coming out. Maybe it is the new 3DS. Maybe it's one that is after that. Plus this little box that has about the same processing power as the Wii U with the game cartridge that fits in both. So you can go between them, much like the PlayStation TV takes Vita cartridges.
Right.
The same Nintendo cartridge could go into your 3DS and into your little Apple TV, Nintendo Xbox and play the same games.
Yeah.
I could see it.
And that's pretty much what I'm hoping for with
Yeah.
the Nintendo
Yeah.
X. So two platforms, so two systems that share the platform.
Yeah.
So you could literally just put it on. And the one game cartridge would have all of the high-res models and textures for the console and slightly lower res
So
everything
you don't
for the
think they could be
handheld.
on par?
It depends. If they decide, look, the Wii U is power-wise is
Yeah.
all we need. We don't need to go any more than that. Then sure, maybe, because I think their next handheld is probably going to be to their probably like Vita quality.
So the Vita could easily play Wii U games.
Not without a lot of loading.
Do you reckon?
The one thing that Sony just can't seem to get right is they make these beautiful handhelds that look amazing, do way more graphically and orally than any Nintendo handheld. But the load times and it tries too hard to be a console.
Right.
When Nintendo says this isn't a console, it's a funny, happy, fun-making machine that we're putting in your hand.
Yeah.
You know, they don't want to think of it as another console.
So you think that, it won't be on a console experience in your hand from Nintendo anytime
Not the
soon?
next one. It'll be the same as the 3DS, just more graphically superior.
I agree.
I don't think they have an interest in sharing. I think consumers have an interest in having a shared platform.
Yeah.
And like what happened with Monster Hunter 3, they had the Wii version and the 3DS version. Sorry, Wii U version and the 3DS version. And you could use the Bluetooth or whatever it is to transfer your save over and take it back and forth. If they could have cloud-based saves, and they had a system where you could have the game on both systems and take it wherever you want, and have either have the exact same graphical quality on both, or a better one at home than in your hand, that'd be awesome. I just think if they're going to be exactly the same, like power-wise, it'll be the lowest common denominator. Your handheld will be like the next step up, but your home console, when you plug it in at home, is going to just look crap.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
don't
Unless
think-
they
you
have something that spits out.
I mean, because your Vita games are 720, aren't they? Usually they're native 720p. They're HD enough that you could have it on your TV and not think that looks horrible.
But graphically, aren't they only a little bit higher than the PS2?
No, they're pretty good. Like if you've played Killzone Mercenaries.
Yeah, but you can't include anything Killzone. Like Killzone, even on PS4, looks like it shouldn't be on a PS4. It looks great.
Yeah. So, but they can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting. And like Nintendo games aren't usually that demanding graphically.
No, you're right.
So like you could have a full HD experience and like be on your TV.
Amy keeps going,
I'm
technical
freaking
difficulties?
out
No?
because
Okay,
I can
good.
see my battery light flashing.
Oh right, okay.
So-
So in conclusion, I think there's a 50% chance that one of us has nailed it.
Right.
But knowing Nintendo, we have no idea. Exactly
Yeah.
anything.
Hopefully there'll be more news in the
Yeah.
fortnight. We can
You're allowed.
Yeah, I think we
talk
should
about
throw
it
it
again.
into another special order, and recap
Yeah.
based on news that's come in,
Yeah.
if any.
And so now that we've decided that we don't need the clap to actually sync it, I was thinking maybe we move the clap from syncing the thing to showing when the end of the podcast is.
Oh, okay. Just
Yeah,
because
so
it's a
it's a
fun
little
thing to do.
goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
this is
alright.
the goodbye clap,
Yeah.
Is
so-
this, and that's it.
and that's
Yeah.
it.
All right,
Right.
sponsors again. If you want to jump on, we're happy. We're happy to talk about anything.
Yeah.
We're going to make
Yeah.
ads, put them in as well, make it fun.
So is it Nadia Lim? Is that who we're?
Yeah, hands
Nadia
up,
Lim.
Nadia.
Yeah.
Nadia.
My food bag.
Right, cool. All right.
Are we gonna be like sponsored by some? There's gonna be an erotica shop that's like this podcast is
Oh god,
amazing.
no.
Will we? Will we?
An
You said
erotica.
anything.
An erotica.
Erotica shop. Yeah.
Oh. Well, I mean, if we have to test
I'm
drive
out.
their products, I don't know.
And with that,
Thanks for joining
we're out.
us.
Sorry.